We all love to think, we can't help it. We all love to learn too. You might not like going to school or work, but you learn every day. The only question is, did you know this already? Epistemology is the theory of knowledge. It deals with what knowledge is and how we deal with it. So it's basically how we learn. There are two more philosophical terms you need to know. A priori, which is using logic and reason to come up with a conclusion before experience, and a posteriori, learning through experience. So a priori is the opposite of a posteriori. I should also include innate ideas. These are ideas you are born with. In epistemology, there are two main ideas, rationalism and empiricism. There are distinct differences between them, so many that you could call them exact opposites of each other. Rationalism is the concept of innate ideas, reason and deduction, and is a priori, whereas empiricism is the concept of induction, sense perception, and there are no innate ideas. Empiricism is a posteriori. With rationalism, having innate ideas can come through reincarnation. When you are reborn, you still have your memories and ideas from the life before. Plato described the theory of innate ideas with his theory of forms, the place where everyone goes to attain knowledge before returning back to the physical or visible world. These innate ideas could explain why some people are naturally better at some things, even though you have the same experience. There is evidence that humans do have innate ideas. For example, your music taste, whether it's rock, pop, alternate, electronic or rap. There are links to the speed of the beat and your mother's heartbeat from when you were in the womb. So people whose mothers have a fast heartbeat generally like faster music. I have been told I do not understand something till I can explain it in simple words. So I need to understand what it actually is, the reasons. Rationalists believe that reason is a main source of knowledge. Rationalists tend to believe that the five senses give you an opinion on something. They don't explain why something is. In Descartes' wax argument, he says how a candle has a fixed shape until it's lit, then it deforms into a new, completely different shape compared to how it started. This is similar to our senses as it shows they can be tricked and are not to be trusted. Optical illusions wouldn't work if your senses couldn't be tricked. Deduction, being able to conclude using particular instances by using principles. This is the third main characteristic of rationalism. Descartes used this to prove the existence of God, claiming that he knew what a perfect substance was. But as he was not perfect and therefore couldn't create anything perfect, this idea must not be his. It must be a perfect being that can create imperfections, such as God. Rationalism is a place where maths and religion agree, for maths can be understood a priori. As we know, for example, Pythagoras' theorem is true for all triangles without testing every single triangle. Now on the other hand, empiricism and empiricists believe that all ideas come from sense experience and all ideas are either simple or complex. Simple ideas are ideas that are based only on perception, like colour, something that you only really need one sense to understand. Complex ideas are formed when simple ideas are combined together, so it generally takes more than one sense to understand them. Empiricists reject the idea of innate ideas, because if a baby did know everything already, why can't it show it? Surely someone who learnt to walk and talk in another life would be able to in the next life. John Locke stated that the mind was a tabula rasa, or a blank slate, or an empty cabinet. This empty cabinet can be furnished with experiences. An example of this is a person who is born blind has no notion of colour. Induction is the third principle of empiricism. It is the idea that very few things, if any, can be proven conclusively. For example, I can show you that a $1 note is green, but how do we know, when it's not observed, that it is still green, if there at all? So you can never actually know anything with 100% certainty, or very few things. We can use repeat experiences to make a knowledge claim. A really extreme empirical idea is localism. This takes induction to the next level and says that we can only be sure of the existence of ourselves. Everything else is a projection of our minds. Consider the possibility that you are a projection of someone else's mind. The only question is, who is the mind?